Hello everyone, this is Sati Pathak and you're watching my channel. Today I'm back with another video which talks about the chapter 1 of the NABH Standard 5th edition, which is the Access, Assessment and Continuity of Care. In this particular presentation I will talk about the intent of this particular chapter and the 14 standards of this chapter. I hope you will like this particular video. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and let's get started. So now we'll talk about the intent of the chapter. So what is intent of the chapter? Intent of the chapter is that why this particular chapter is made. So what this chapter will talk about. So this is what is written on this particular slide. So the first point is the patients are informed about the services provided by the organization. So basically an organization displays the services on the board, okay, so that patients can see those services and then basically admit themselves as per their requirements. Second point is only those patients who can be cared for by the organization are admitted. This means if the organization doesn't have required resources for giving the patient care, then they will not admit that patient. Okay. The third point is emergency patients receive life stabilizing treatment and are either admitted or transferred to the other organization. So emergency patients who come to the organization are admitted if the resources are available, and they are transferred to the other organizations if the resources are not available. Outpatients who do not match the organizational resources are similarly referred to the organizations that have required resources. Then the last point here is patients are admitted using a defined process. So there is a particular step-by-step process with the help of which the patients are admitted to the organization. So now let's go to the next slide for the rest of the points. So here are the rest of the points. So the first point written in this particular slide is patients cared for by the organization undergo an established initial assessment and periodic reassessments. Basically this means that patients undergo an initial assessment which includes the vital parameters like blood pressure, pulse rate, height, weight. So these are the vital parameters that are being taken when the patient is admitted. And then periodic reassessments are taken so as to ensure that the patient is fully recovered or it is recovering or not, to understand the progress of the health of the patient. So the next is the assessments lead to the formulation of care plan. Care plan is basically a detailed documented plan which includes a step-by-step procedure to take care of the patient. So the patient care is basically done with the help of the care plan, because that care plan is a step-by-step procedure which includes the total patient care process. Third point is the organization provides laboratory and imaging services commensurate to its scope of services. Okay, so laboratory and imaging services, these services are there in the hospital, and these two departments, the laboratory and imaging, they will display their services outside their department, okay, and that should basically commensurate with the scope of services, in the sense that it should commensurate with the scope of services of the hospital. So this is how it is. Next is the laboratory and imaging services are provided by the competent staff in safe environment for both patients and staff. Patient care is continuous and multidisciplinary. That means that the patient care should not be interrupted in between. If it gets interrupted in between, the patient care will not be continuous and it will lead to harmful consequences to the patient. So that is very, very important. Transfer and discharge protocols are well defined with adequate information provided to the patient. So transfer and discharge protocols, discharge summary are being documented so that patient care remains continuous and patient care is not interrupted in between. So let's go to the next slide that will talk about these standards. Okay, so now I'll talk about the first standard, which states that the organization defines and displays the healthcare services that it provides. So the organization has to display the healthcare services so that patient can see those services and admit themselves as per their requirements. Okay, and the second standard is the organization has a well-defined registration and admission process. The registration and admission process should be well-defined. A step-by-step procedure should be there for the registration and admission. There are two types of registration and admission process, which is the walk-in and the appointment system. So the healthcare organization can adopt any of these methods. The third standard is there is an appropriate mechanism for transfer in and out or referral of the patient. This is done when the healthcare resources are not available in the organization. So the patient has to transfer to that organization where the healthcare resources are available. The fourth is the patient cares for the organization undergo an established initial assessment. So the initial assessment is very, very important, which includes the measuring all the vital parameters like height, weight, blood pressure, pulse rate, and then taking the notes of the past medications and their past procedures. So these are very, very important. The fifth standard is patients cared for by the organization undergo regular reassessment. The reassessments are really very important to track the health progress of the patient. The sixth standard is the laboratory services are provided by as per the scope of services of the organization. Okay, so the laboratory services include many services like hematology, serology, immunology, cytopathology, histopathology. So this should commensurate with the scope of services of the hospital or the healthcare organization. There is an established laboratory quality assurance program. The quality is very, very important in the diagnostics services. Okay, so there should be a quality assurance program for this. Now for the remaining standard, we should go to the next slide. Okay, so now I'll talk about the remaining standard. The 8th standard is there's an established laboratory safety program. So each and every organization should have a laboratory safety program where the staff should wear the PPE kit, okay, which includes the apron, the gloves, the shoe cover, the head cover. So that is very, very important. And the safety program is very, very important to make the patient safe as well. Okay. Then imaging services are provided as per the scope of the services of the organization. This is the 9th standard, and the imaging services can include the MRI, CT scan, ultrasonography and X-ray, but it should commensurate with the scope of services of the healthcare organization. The 10th standard is there's an established quality assurance program in the imaging services. Okay, so quality has to be maintained in the imaging services. The reports should be available to the patients on time. So this is one of the parameters of the quality assurance. Okay, then the 11th standard is there's an established safety program in the imaging services. So radiations are used in the imaging services. So there should be TLD batches, which is thermoluminescent dosimeter, for the staff who is working in these imaging services. Okay. Then this is part of the safety program, and the training should be provided to the staff as to how to maintain the safety in these imaging services. Then 12th standard is the patient care is continuous and multidisciplinary. This means that patient care has to be continuous. There should be no interruption in between, and there should be proper communication among the staff members so as to maintain the patient care in a smooth way. Okay, the 13th standard is the organization has an established discharge process. Discharge process has to be maintained, and it should be followed in a sequential manner so that patient does not feel uncomfortable and does not feel that he's not being cared of. Okay. Then the 14th standard is the organization defines the content of the discharge summary. The discharge summary has to be maintained, and the contents should be filled, and it should be documented. So this was all about the 14 standards of the first chapter, which is the access, assessment, continuity of care. I hope you understood this particular chapter. Thank you for watching this particular video. I hope you like this video about the access, assessment and continuity of care. I'll be back with another video which will talk about the second chapter of the NABL standards, which is care of patients. So I hope you really like this video. Bye bye, stay safe and healthy.